Such hypocrisy and duplicity, Pharisaism and politics. I am Ronaldo Mackenzie, and welcome to another episode of the Neoliberal Round podcast. Nikki Haley recently said that we can't keep paying people to just sit on the couch. That's profoundly un-American. Again, she said we can't keep paying people to just sit on the couch. That's profoundly un-American. She said,
Joe Biden is a socialist president. The proof is all around us. We're living through an unprecedented expansion of the welfare state. 90 million people on Medicaid. Think about that. 42 million people on food stamps. Since the moment COVID hit, we've spent trillions paying people to just sit on the couch. This president and his party apparently looked at the failing economies of Europe and said, let's do that. It's un-American, and it doesn't have to be this way. I say that as a former governor who moved 35,000 people from welfare to work, and I say it as a future president who will liberate tons of millions of Americans from government dependence. Joe?
now this is my response, and just so you know, today myself, I responded to Nikki Haley, and this is what I said to her. Nikki Haley, just so you know, in the 21st century, work is becoming remote, where people can now work from home while on their couches. So you may want to revise or update this statement or point so as to avert the implication of this pun. Now, there were several replies or responses, but this one woman or man, I don't know if it's a woman or a man, responded. The name of via Twitter, and her name or the Twitter account's profile name is Magical Cat. Magical cat, spelled Magikalkat, and he or she responded to me saying, a cat, I guess this cat would be a woman, she's a woman, magical cat is a woman. Wow, if all work is becoming remote, I would like to know how your dentist plans on doing that. Let me know how you plan to get your teeth cleaned from home. Laugh out loud. I responded by saying, actually, you can clean your teeth from home now too. In fact, they have dental whitening and cleaning devices that you can order from Amazon or online. If you have the right amount of money, yes, it can be done even much more professionally than going to some of these dentists down the street. Okay? But you oversimplify the point, denoting your ignorance and parochial and myopic views of life. I continue by saying you want to make it about one profession, thereby winning the argument. I think she responded after that, so let me bring up her response. No, she did not respond after. Well, she responded after that, and if I could find her response, I can't find the response, but she responded. I continued by saying, you want to make it about one profession, thereby winning the argument, taking me down a road where you feel you can win by limiting the discussions. You limit yourself to limit the answers, to prove a point that is beyond the limits you provide. Now, she responded She responded, and let me see if I could find her response. She said that my point is that not every profession can be done at home, per your point. Construction workers can't work from home. Dentists can't work from home. Surgeons can't work from home, etc. So, per your point, not everybody can work from home. I can't even, and I have a common office job. And then I responded by saying this. You continue to argue in a myopic way, not understanding the point of creating a pun, P-U-N, which is a prose, a play upon words, that indicate a narrative that's archaic to the 21st century of work and how wealth is generated. The rich don't really work. So some work, others take, yet work is becoming tectonic. Notice becoming. Then she responded by saying, it is not archaic. You literally cannot do everything from home. It's impossible. Are we going to have jail bailiffs work from home too? Or paramedics? Let me know how that works out. Laugh out loud. I don't understand why people do not understand this. And I responded by saying, you're making it about your point. That has nothing to do with what I'm alluding to. So I rest my case. Make your point, but that is absolutely besides my point. I'm moving on to something else. I can't belabor this. Magical cat responded. Your point was, and I quote, every job can be done at home. Close quotation. She was quoting me. She says, your point was every job can be done at home. Wrong. Explain to me how certain jobs can be. I would love to hear the answers. I responded to her. I said to her, and you got to hear this response, it's quite terse. I said, wrong. Copy the entire first text from the first thread I posted, which you responded to. Now, again, I responded to her. I continued by saying, by the way, you're welcome to submit a blog or article to the neoliberal.com. I'll publish it. And you can submit it to submissions at the neoliberal.com. And for those of us listening, if you have any articles or blog you want to share, please share it with the world right here. Submit it to us, submissions at the neoliberal.com. And I value your opinions, but may not agree, but understand what you are saying. That was my response to her. And she responded by saying this. Oh, and I said to her, again, do not simplify or oversimplify or miss my initial point. Read it again. Then comment. You're steering the argument away from what it is meant to be. You are forcing the issue. Come on my show and let's debate. She responded by saying, please explain to me how certain essential positions can work from home. Tree arborists, bailiffs, construction workers, dentists, etc. I would love to know the answers. I responded. In fact, my response concluded the conversation with her, and Nikki Haley was attached to the thread and so on. But after I posted this, she did not respond. But this was my response to her. I said, okay, fine. Work is becoming remote. So telling us to get up from our couches doesn't take into account 21st century technology. There's also AI, artificial intelligence. But what we need is investment in opportunities that pay better paying jobs where you will get them to leave couches if that is what you want. Which is what we want to hear. Why are people on their couches? Why are people on their couches? Maybe remote work pays better. Again, let me respond. She said, please explain to me how certain essential positions can work from home. Tree arborists, bailiffs, construction workers, dentists, etc. I would love to know. I responded by saying, work is becoming remote. So telling us to get up from our couches, don't take into account 21st century technology. There's also AI, artificial intelligence, and you've been following the news about what robots can do now. But what we need is investment in opportunities that pay better paying jobs where you will get them, the people on the couches, to leave the couches if that is what you want, which is what we want to hear. Why are people on their couches? Maybe remote workspace better. And by the way, I had some conversations with some young people in Philadelphia. And this young woman in Philadelphia, I said to her, are you working? She said no. I said to her, you're not working again? Why? Because they want to pay me $18 and $20 an hour. What's that? I said, what?
How does she make money? If she's not working, how does she make money? That should be the next question.
In 2004, she's a child. In 2004, she's a child. In 2000,
that's how she makes money.
I'm being facetious. Listen to what I said. She has a child. Nikki Haley talked about social. She talked about social welfare.
She has social benefits.
The society
that we as taxpayers pay
does not have a problem creating social welfare for people. Social welfare as an alternative.
I have a problem.
As an alternative to people who as an alternative to people who don't want to work in protest of their wages, right? So if you first of all, we live in a society that where there is union where is this deunionization, union dormancy. That's the word I'm trying to find. Union dormancy, where workers used to be able to negotiate for better pay. Now, if you know that you are getting a lot of money, okay, you have a well-paying job that takes care of your needs, that allows you the opportunity to have leisure and so on, won't you try? Who would not want to keep a job like that? But we live in a society where inflation is outstripping cost of living, okay? Where the people, working class people and the most vulnerable in society over the last 10 years have seen their real income or wages dropped, or their wealth have been stagnant, while the top 10th percentile of the economy have seen a significant increase upward of their wealth, okay, while the Feds are increasing interest rates, and they have just did an incremental interest rate, saying that promising much more to come, which what that does is that it mops up liquidity. It takes money from the economy, so there's less money in the economy. Yes, and I'm saying to you, if Nikki Haley wants to be different and stand out of the pack, don't use the same talking point. Tell us how you plan to fail. First of all, you need to ask, why are people sitting on their benches? Are they getting paid? Are people getting enough? I mean, first of all, let's look in case management. You know how many men work in case management today?
A lot.
Very few compared to what used to happen. Okay.
No, not very few.
Yeah, but studies show that more men. I mean, there's preponderant. They were even changing the rules to get more men in social work and to become teachers and so on and so forth. Men don't want. Okay. And and not only that, every time you find anytime a role or position become more diverse, there's more diversity in a job, or there's more gender neutrality in a job, the salary drops. Okay. So when I say to you, Nikki Haley, listen to what I'm saying here. I'm helping. Pop, this is helping you. This is helping you. Listen to the point I'm making. What we need is investment in opportunities that pay better paying jobs where you will get them to leave couches if that is what you want, which is what we want to hear. Why are people on their couches? We are not giving them anything attractive. We want them to, first of all, have you studied job satisfaction? Look, have you ever looked at... That's why you need academics on these campaigns, who can talk the talk. Have you studied? Look at job. I'm getting a call and I don't want. No, decline. Come on now.
Decline.
Let me continue. Sorry, the point I'm making. Have you looked at job satisfaction recently? The job satisfaction rate recently. Job satisfaction is still it's an all-time low, and that is why many young people prefer to work remotely. They're leaving their jobs. They say that young people are changing the way we think about work now, because as they try to find people to work. They want them to leave their culture. They can't find some employers can't find people to work. You know why? Because young people today and the working population, the millennials who are forming the working population now, they have much more intelligence. Yes, right? They know how to use technology to make money.
Oh, okay.
Because they don't want to get this. They're different. They don't have the same morals like their parents. Okay, their parents. They want you to stay for one job for 10 years, 50, 20 years, making pittance. While young people today,
I'd rather do that than be broke.
But young people today, they're not doing that. They're okay. They're not doing that.
They're broke. They're selling drugs. They're on the corners. They're not doing nothing.
They're doing the same thing that rich people are doing. Okay.
No, rich people work. Mark Zuckerberg works every day.
Mark Zuckerberg owes me $758. Okay, that they steal your content on Facebook and stuff. They take your content and then say, and they want you to pay for your own content. They want you to pay for your own content on Facebook. And then say, okay, promote your reels and we'll pay you. And guess what? At the end of the day, up to now, I have not gotten my money for the reels that I have promoted. Up to now. When you're done, they say you owe them by coming up with these boost things that if you press 2 buttons accidentally, you're charged $10. I am telling you, people, rich, don't let them fool you and dupe you. They don't work. In 2016, they said I owed them $16,000. I owed the IRS I did not owe them. Come up with some lies, so I bought some truck. I don't even know what happened. But I barely made any money in 2016, but they said I owe the IRS. You know what? Donald Trump, who makes billions of dollars, paid $75. That is why I study strategy. I study strategy to see the strategy behind the system. Like, look what Haiti did. After they got independence, America refused to recognize their independence. Okay? And France didn't have them turn around and pay them $24 billion, keeping them down. Can I tell you? And then these people stand up in their 3-piece suit. Look, let me tell you guys, I'm going to read an article that I wrote today. And this is where I'm going to wrap up. I wrote an article. It's called Such Hypocrisy. Here's January 6th Trump talking about taking on corruption. And this article is in the Neoliberal Corporation Journal, theneoliberal.com. Listen to the article. Yesterday at CPAC rally, Donald J. Trump said that he shows strength as US president in that no country from without will touch the US. But what about the implosion within from policies and talking points that promote divisiveness and vitriol leading to a January 6th insurrection? Yeah, you talk. What about the implosion from within, Mr. Trump? All this talk accusing people of being Marxists and Nikki Haley spewing out the same nonsense yesterday, calling the other side socialists, seems to suggest the potential marriage between Donald Trump and Nikki Haley's campaign. He, Donald Trump, like Ron DeSantis, Florida's governor, want to get rid of race theory or critical race theory. They, some ultra GOP, call woke, thereby preventing black academics and black authors from academia and from financial gains. The usual strategy that prevents black people from wealth and prosperity. Black outlets, bookstores, please support black authors. Don't gatekeep. We have to face Trump. We authors, we have to face Trump. We have to face we have to face Trump, DeSantis, and the Republican Party blocking our books. So I'm asking black outlet and black like Bobby's bookstore in Germantown here at the top. They are gatekeeping. They haven't. I sent them my books and my number to give them my card 1,000,000 times, but they are gatekeeping. I'm saying to you, we are facing Donald Trump, DeSantis, and the Republican Party are blocking our books. Don't tell me that. Please, I'm asking you, Bobby's bookstore, do not add to the list. Help the local community authors and black and brown authors. I'm appealing to Harriet Tubman bookstore and to the bookstore. Please don't add to the list. Black authors need your support. I'm appealing to all black stores and outlets. And by the way, I have said this, suddenly all black writers are deemed part of critical race theory from what they are trying to do in Florida. All black authors or writers are deemed part of critical race theory, and thus our books become branded as such. Needless to say, critical race theory is important, as how can we truly heal without appropriating the past? And on Ron DeSantis said today, or in a tweet, great to be at the Ronald Reagan Library. He was speaking earlier today. President Reagan noted, freedom is always one generation away from extinction that is not passed through the bloodstream. We in Florida are doing our part in carrying the torch of liberty so we can preserve Florida as a free state. That's according to Ron DeSantis. But I will push back here. Ron DeSantis, by banning black academics, black books, thereby their abilities to make a living. How is that freedom? How is that free market? How is that capitalism? How is that freedom of expression? In one breath, you, Ron DeSantis, promote freedom, but in another, you're banning books, redefining and demeaning it as woke to justify the ban. I'm going to say that again. I will push back here by Mr. DeSantis. By banning you talk about freedom of expression and liberty, invoking Ronald Reagan. How dare you? How do you ensure that we preserve Florida as a free state? By banning black academics, black books, thereby their abilities to make a living? How is that freedom? How is that free market? How is that capitalism?
No, he does it by banning black books that judge America on its past rather than its present.
No.
Yes.
No. Once the book is written by a black person, that's part of critical race theory. Okay. Yes. And that's the thing about this law. It is flippant. Once it is written by a black man or a brown person, it can be considered critical race theory. Okay? Because you know why? Because a black author's picture is at the back. And guess what? Oh, so I feel guilty.
That almost states that Ron DeSantis is a racist. Is he racist? Any black author's book is critical race theory?
If you are banning critical race theory that speaks to the injustices of the past, then I would think that you are racist. But there are many books that speaks to the injustice of the past, but in beautiful ways. You're not banning that.
Because they're not a requirement in our children's schools. People want critical race theories in our children's schools, which makes them hate their white counterparts.
Who?
The children that you teach this critical race theory to.
No.
They blame, yes.
No, the law. When he passed the law about a year ago, and I've been writing about this a long time. He said, teaching history that make you feel guilty about the past.
Right.
Now, as I said to you, cogito ergo sum.
It makes little white children feel less than.
That is a response.
Yes.
To human nature. And that is how you deal with the past.
Well, that's how he's the governor. He's the head of Florida.
Sigmund Freud.
He's the head of Florida.
Sigmund Freud, when they talk about defense mechanism, they put human beings' tendency to push things in the past. It comes up as it poses as abnormal. It comes up eventually in abnormal ways and develop into abnormalities. That does not solve America's problem. It creates more hurt and regret and eventually implosion. And civil war.
Civil war?
Yes.
Implosion?
Yes. That's what they're trying to do. People are not responsible for how you feel. Black people are responsible for what was done to them. Okay?
Black people what? Are responsible?
Aren't responsible.
They are not responsible for what was done to them.
Okay, this is okay.
But white kids today. White kids today aren't responsible.
But they are benefiting like those who live in living towns.
Is that their fault?
Okay, fine. But it's not your fault. But how are you going to help those who are hurting from that? By banning their books? That's it. That's insult to injury. Fine, it's not your fault, but you're adding to the problem by hiding it, trying to hide it. because you want to feel good about what you have, because you know what you have comes from theft. And you don't want to give black people reparation. Okay, but you give the Jews their land back with money.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's because America would go broke. America cannot afford to play black people.
Like how California is broke with, but they have the most millionaires and billionaires. I am telling you. So let me continue. I said I'm pushing back here by Mr. DeSantis by banning black academics, black books, thereby abilities to make a living. How is that freedom? How is that free market? How is that capitalism? How is that freedom of expression? In one breath, you promote freedom, but in another, you're banning books, redefining and demeaning it, and redefining and demeaning it as woke, WOKE, to justify the ban. That's that's the usual strategy that they use. By the way, just so you know, the Neoliberal Corporation journals will publish and share your submissions if they are being blocked. Just write to us at submissions@theneoliberal.com. Let me continue the point I'm making. I said in one breath you promote freedom, but in another you are banning books, redefining and demeaning it as woke to justify the ban, which in effect is a strategy. The usual strategy to redefine a thing as less than so as to justify punishment or discrimination. You see the similarity here between Trump and DeSantis, and by extension, Nikki Haley. No, they're all the same thing. Yes? They're all the same thing. All the same thing. I was incensed today, though. I was incensed when I saw Donald Trump talking about how he's going to defend. People were promoting him. You know, the Bible, if you look at the Jesus story, when Jesus was being crucified, the Pharisees and the Sadducees were saying, "Give us Barabbas, but crucify Jesus."
I don't know who Barabbas.
Give us Barabbas was a criminal, a convicted criminal.
Jesus was on the cross next to two convicted criminals.
Yeah, but Barabbas was also and Pilate did not want to send Jesus on the crucified, and he turned to the crowd and says, "What must I do with this man? Should I give you this guy? What is he guilty of?" And the people say, "Okay, I have two men before you. Who should I?" He said, "Give us." He says, "Give us Barabbas, but crucify Jesus." It shows the humanity that we have. Give us Donald Trump. Donald Trump, who helped to incite and promote divisiveness. These people are so ambivalent. They promote freedom, but then talk. But that I said to you, you need to study strategy, because I said, look at the U.S. Constitution. The U.S. Constitution says that slavery is abolished, except in cases where you have convicted criminals. Okay, convicted criminals can be enslaved. And then you have that, okay, and you find that prisons are now being...
criminals can be enslaved.
Yes, based on the law. The law.
Be enslaved by whom? The government? The United
by
States
anyone who has authority over convicted criminals. Now, and I'm going to make the point that please remember, they have privatized what? The jails and the prisons and correction. So now you have, it's private business, and they don't have to pay for prison labor, because prison labor can be enslaved labor. They can force them to work without paying them, and guess what? They're not guilty of a crime. And then you check it.
What happens if the people refuse to work?
Well, they are slaves. Yes. Do slaves have any kind of rights, human rights? If convicts can be enslaved, and you think about slavery that existed before and that was abolished, then slavery were beaten. and forced to work. It's forced labor. Slavery is forced labor, which means, okay, that is not abolished in this country.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that goes on. It might be something on the books, but it doesn't happen.
But it's okay. But it's a loophole. But what the weirdest thing is that, and then you see black people. Okay, black people comprise 16% of this country. 16%, yes, 16 or 17, something like that. But how many black people are in jail today, incarcerated? Over 80%. Over 80% of people who are incarcerated are blacks, although they are only comprised of 16% of the population in this country.
Why? Why is
okay. While at the same time we have a law that says, guess what? Slavery is abolished except for convicted criminals. And then you find that the same experience of black people, which is slavery, well, okay, most of them are in jail and they are treated. I mean, can I tell you? So we have to put this into perspective. That is why I said to you, I am not. When I see people like John Castro, and then the media, I said to you, they say, give us Jesus. I mean, sorry. Wait
a minute. You said when you see people like John Castro, and then you said the media.
Yeah, because I'm saying the media is like it's doing what the Pharisees did back in the time of Jesus when they said, give us Jesus. Crucify Jesus, but give us Barabbas. Yes, crucify John Castro, but give us Donald Trump. Crucify those who are fighting for change, like the BLM movement. BLM movement are fighting because the black people are discriminated against in this country. That is a fact. And police were attacking black people. They attacked me, and when I fight against that, they're reclassifying your fight as criminal. But then they can go and attack the Capitol and wear a 3-piece suit and talk about they're going to fight corruption. This is the 21st century. Our millennials are much more. People are smarter now. Okay, we at the Neoliberal Corporation, we're about what? Serving the world today to solve tomorrow's challenge by making popular what was the monopoly. This particular episode was I was passionate today. I will continue to write, and I will continue to get involved in the conversation and provide commentary that unearth things in a particular way. We have to be more, some people try to steer the argument away in order to achieve a particular thing. As I said, people do try to redefine purest intentions. This is the Neoliberal Realm Podcast. Please support us at anchor.fm/theneoliberal/support, and please purchase our books, Neoliberal Globalization, Neoliberalism, which you can get it from theneoliberal.com or any bookstore in all platforms. And also you can the upcoming book, Neoliberal Globalization Reconsidered, Neo-Capitalism and the Death of Nations. And when we talk about Neo-Capitalism and the Death of Nations, please, I'm telling you that I am not, listen, if free market is free, then make it free. If free market is fair, then make it fair. In one breath they talk about free market, but they do something opposite. You see what I'm saying? You want Nikki Haley and DeSantis? Don't try and confuse brilliant and academic people. They talk about lumpen proletariats, the people who they can dupe and talk about have a conversation about socialism and capitalism, because the capitalism that we have today is not capitalism, it's Pharisaism and bureaucracy. The socialism that we have today is not socialism, and by the way, socialism is not totalitarianism and despotism. And fine, let's embrace capitalism, the one full of the spirit that Max Weber talked about, hard work, not nepotism and connectionism, because that is what we have today. I don't know what these guys listen, man. I don't know what these people, and then these people who watch TV and they just listen to these major outlets that continue to sprout nonsense. Please send us feedback, info@theneoliberal.com, and please send us submissions at theneoliberal.com. I'm Ronaldo McKenzie. walking.
By making popular what was the monopoly. I don't understand that. By making popular what was the monopoly. By making popular what was the monopoly.